Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Debe Islamic Association's Ramadan Reminders. This year, we continue with the explanation of Chapter 2 of the Holy Quran, Surah Baqarah, the chapter of the cow. Last year's series was based on the first major theme in this chapter, faith versus disbelief, and this year we'll be following it with the second major theme, Allah's knowledge. Since we have completed Ruku 35, we will now look at a review of these ayahs today, which are ayahs 258 to 260. We are in the days of forgiveness, the middle 10 days of Ramadan, so let's recite the recommended dua for such. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Astaghfirullah Rabbi min kulli dhanbi wa atubu ilayh. I ask forgiveness of my sins from Allah, who is my Lord, and I turn towards Him.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم تر إلى الذي حاج إبراهيم في ربه أن آتاه الله الملك إذ قال إبراهيم ربي الذي يحيي ويميت قال أنا أحيي وأميت قال إبراهيم فإن الله يأتي بالشمس من المشرق فأت بها من المغرب فبهت الذي كفر والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين. أو كالذي مر على قرية وهي خاوية على أروشها قال أنى يحيي هذه الله بعد موتها فأماته الله 100 عام ثم بعثه قال كم لبثت قال لبثت يوما أو بعض يوم قال بل لبثت 100 عام فانظر إلى طعامك وشرابك لم يتسنه وانظر إلى حمارك ولنجعلك آية للناس وانظر إلى العظام كيف ننشزها ثم نكسوها لحما فلما تبين له قال أعلم أن الله على كل شيء قدير. وإذ قال إبراهيم رب أرني كيف تحيي الموتى قال أولم تؤمن قال بلى ولكن ليطمئن قلبي قال فخذ 4 من الطير فصرهن إليك ثم اجعل على كل جبل منهن جزءا ثم ادعهن يأتينك سعيا واعلم أن الله عزيز حكيم.
So let's look at the one hadith that we came across in this ruku in Surah Baqarah, where the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam stated, we are more liable to be in doubt than Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. And this came about when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had asked Ibrahim, Awalam tu'min, have you not believed? And Ibrahim replied, Bala, yes, I do believe. Rather, I only ask in order that my heart be satisfied. Meaning that he asked in order to strengthen his faith. So let's look at a review of Ruku 35, the section that we've been discussing, between ayahs 258 to 260. So this quiz here is to test our coverage of this discussion that we had, and there are 10 multiple choice questions. So what you can do now is pause the video, click on the link in the description down below, and you can go and try those 10 questions yourself. They're very easy and they're going to take a couple minutes. Now that you're back, let's do it ourselves. So put in our email, name, questions. Number 1, which of the following kings were believers? Sulaiman, who was a prophet, Nimrod, who was a king who was antagonistic or opposite to Ibrahim alayhi salam, Dhul-Qarnayn, who was another king, or Nebuchadnezzar, who was the king that led to the destruction of the city that Uzair, that pious man, had came up with. So the believers would have been Sulaiman, the first one, and Dhul-Qarnayn, number 3. So 1 and 3, let's select that one. Let's go on to the second question. King Nimrod believed that his position as a ruler could not be challenged. So he considered himself God. This was similar to whom? Was it to Nebuchadnezzar? Well, in this Ruku, when we did our discussions, we did not come across anything as such. Was it similar to Ibrahim alayhi salam, the Khalilullah, the friend of Allah? He, being a prophet, would not have considered himself to be God. Musa alayhi salam, and of course he was also a prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so he did not consider himself to be God. So it's none of those 3. Clearly it's Fir'aun. As we can see here, this was similar to what happened with Nimrod. He considered himself, when he discussed with Musa, to be a god. Next one, Ibrahim alayhi salam challenged King Nimrod to do which of the following? To show that he was in control of the sun, and that is true, because let's recall that Ibrahim alayhi salam had said that his Lord causes the sun to rise in the east and set in the west. If King Nimrod is actually a god, then he needs to do the opposite. He needs to cause the sun to rise in the west, and he could not. So this is correct. Did Ibrahim alayhi salam challenge Nimrod to show that he was God? Yes, he did. In terms of who was in control of life and death, so both of these. So all of the above, yes. None of the above, no. So this will be our selection. Let's go on to number 4. The main theme of this ruku is with regards to, is it a cow, a calf, worship, or resurrection? And we can see in 258, 59, and 60, we're dealing with resurrection. We saw it with resurrecting of the city, right? In terms of Uzair. Good. Uzair was a pious man. Yes, he was. That's correct. A descendant of Bani Israel. He was also a descendant. A man who had memorized the Torah. He had also done that. He was the last person recognized to have done that. He was also later on misrepresented, where some people started to consider him to be the son of God. So Uzair was all 3 of these, so all of the above. And then go on to number 6. Allah caused Uzair to die. For how long? For part of a day? Well, Uzair thought so when he was questioned by the angel. For a day, for 70 years. Well, 70 years after he passed away, the city started to come back to life. Or for 100 years. So it was for 100 years. Why did Allah resurrect Uzair's eyes first? Is it because that it is always the first part of the body that moves when someone wakes up? Was that for the specific reason? Or was it so he could see the miracles of the resurrection? Because the sun was shining in his face? or because this was an extra miracle as he was blind before he had died. So clearly it was so that when his eyes were resurrected first, he could then see his other body parts coming to life. He can see the skeleton of his himar, his donkey, being reformed. Let's go on to number 8. Nun shizuha means to assemble. Is that true or false? Yes, so when we came across that in the ayah, bones were being reformed and collected and being reassembled. So that's also true. In the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam and the birds, how many of them did he slaughter? Did he slaughter 1, 2, 3, or 4? Under the direction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he had slaughtered 4 of them and he put them on 4 hills. And the last question, Allah showed that the Khalilullah, the friend of Allah, the miracle of the birds, resurrection, as he doubted Allah. Did Ibrahim alayhi salam doubt Allah? And we discussed that in the hadith. No, he did not doubt Allah. What he did was he was trying to strengthen his faith. So now that we're finished, we can submit. And when we submit, you can see our response. So let's see if we can view our score. We have now completed part 15, which was a review of Ruku 35. In preparation for tomorrow, we suggest that you read the following 2 ayahs, 261 and 62. We now end with the recommended dua. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. Our Lord, accept this service from us, for indeed you are all hearing, all knowing. Assalamu alaikum